Hey everyone, welcome to Unveiling Beauty. So excited to be back on the show with you all today. Hello, Ammon, how are you?
What's going on, Nick? How are you?
Good, really good.
Where are you?
Where am I? I'm in Philly.
Philly. Yeah.
I'm in my house in Philly. How about you? I can see you're at home, right?
Yeah, I'm at home in Chicago with the kiddies and Jeff.
Very good.
Excited to be here with you, though, again today. Today's kind of a special episode for us that I don't know if you knew.
I did know. Today we're talking to a couple international celebrities, aren't we?
Indeed. And it marks our 51st episode with Unveiling Beauty today.
51st.
It's going to be 51st. It went by like a whirlwind.
That just goes to show you how long we've been in quarantine.
Yeah. Couldn't even tell how fast it went. But yes, it's an exciting episode, big number for us. Couldn't be happier with the guests that we have to come and celebrate this big number. And it's going to be kind of a marker for, I would like to say maybe like the finale of season 1, but don't worry, Unveiling Beauty is not going away. We're just going to take a little break, do a little revamp, and then come back at you guys better, stronger, cooler than ever with Unveiling Beauty Part 2 very, very soon. So
love it.
We should get right into today's episode, though, because these gentlemen do not live close by and are like up at all hours of the day. So we should get right into the show. What do you think?
Let's do it. Who's our first guest?
Our first guest is none other than Mr. Stevie English, who has forsaken sleep to be here with us today. How are you, Mr. English?
Good morning, Ammon. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
You sound very excited. I think that coffee is needing a little more work.
I love how you Americans, you always have this fantastic exuberance of thing. Us Aussies, we take it a bit slower. Morning, how you going? I'm all right. We're just laid back. We're happy.
You know what I love about Stevie? I can't figure out if you really should be a hairdresser or a comedian, for the record. If anybody really knows Stevie English out there, he's one of the funniest people in the world. And if you also know him, he is not a morning person at all. So for you to be up at 6 a.m. on this show, I'm impressed, first of all, and second of all, grateful.
We owe you a guy.
I think... any opportunity to see your two lovely faces, even at 6 a.m., I'm happy to do it. Because I think the last time I saw those two faces, I think we were in a bar somewhere in New York, way before COVID.
We won't talk about the rest.
What happens?
We do our best creative sessions at a bar, right?
Absolutely.
And hopefully we could meet up at a bar sometime in the near future again. I miss seeing
2023.
Everyone. No, don't say that. We're shooting for 21 for sure. Okay. But in the meantime, we have platforms like this that give us the ability to spotlight amazing hairdressers like yourself and show great techniques. So you have a video here. Tell us about what we're going to see.
I thought I would create something that's super simple in terms of, but also high impact. So I'm using a vivid line from Evo. And really the goal is to show, using a clear panel, how you can mix sort of counteracting colors and how you can create that beautiful little window, if you like.
Awesome.
It's super simple, but actually super, but you can use that technique, although it's in a vivid place, it works really well, but you can actually then take that back to the salon and use it in, any color brand you use into, from mochas to, naturals, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Well, why don't we take a look at that video right now?
I'm excited to share with you a couple techniques. First of all, how I mix color, so how I mix my stainer, how I'll create, how I'll soften colors out or thing. But then I'm going to show on a piece of paper how I would melt. A rough guide before I come onto the doll's head. Plum is our first color. Going to go into lavender. Got some clear and some neon yellow. And I think that when you're dealing with any hairdresser, and especially a hairdresser who's been doing it for as long as I have, and all of our educators at Evo Pro, we all really sort of believe in working cleanly. I'm going to paint all roots first. I'll come through and just go through and just paint the roots. I'm actually going to then put a foil on the top and on sections, just so as I go up, it creates nice and clean sections. When I'm painting my first bit of regrowth, I'm never quite perfect with it. And what I mean by this, and again, this is what I believe is a, not a cheat, but it's a great way of melting colours together. And it's when you're painting your hair, so I'm just going to get my little bit of colour, right? And what you do is the majority of your our stainer goes at the root. And then what I do is I use that sort of swipe, and you always get that little bit of hair that isn't perfect, and that hair sort of picks up. This also will help create that blend or that melt when you go between the two. See this bit here? I actually love bits like this in colour. So again, lots of product at the bottom, and then let it feather up, but never, I don't want it to be exactly the same. I really, really want that to be some bits higher, some bits lower. I'm now going to work from bottom to top, moving up, and that's just a preference thing. And I think that anytime I'm educating, preference is where I live. If you do something and you prefer doing it, that's fine. This is a Stevie thing. I'm now going to use my lavender, so come into the next stage, and I'm going to just feather into that. So it's a slightly lighter. I'm going to do both sides, and I'm going to let that drop. Because these colours are really quite complementary, you can go into it straight away rather than leaving the gap like I did on the piece of paper. And if you have a look here on my apron, I've got a towel. So when I am working in the salon behind the chair, I will always, if I do go through and finger between my two colours, I then get my towel and just clean your hands, because obviously you want to try and clean your sections as much as possible. My favourite tool really is here, and it's in getting the sort of your two fingers, and just blending those two colours together, pulling back down, and just making sure that you've sort of got a pretty good consistency of product. For the sort of final part, really, I'm going to be using clear here, and then I'm going to be using our neon yellow there. A little bit of the clear window, then our neon yellow. Now, for me, and again, this is something that Stevie likes, I actually like the imperfection in terms of, I like to see almost like that. It's almost if it's patchy, but it's not. But I'm still gonna come back in and gently soften that little line there. I can clean my hand, clean my finger, and then come back up and do the same, do it back up. Okay, welcome back. Here we are with our finished look. Let's recap in terms of a gentle melt between plum to lavender. We then used our clear window, which I'm sort of going to call negative space, and then into our neon yellow. Let me twist this so we can really have a look at how that sort of goes in the hair. And this is the best option really when I'm talking about negative space. The little white, the imperfections that make this hair color, for me, really special.
All right, so super cool video. Love the technique. Tell us a little bit about what we just watched.
So really what you're watching is the idea of using clear, and I think that clear in terms of that tool for hairdressers, and hairdressers have generally always used clear to either mix out a product, so just to weaken it, whereas I do really love to use it as that window. And so I've gone in for that that violet then a bit more of a pink or violet coming through, then clear window, and then we're coming into yellow. And so I'm using a couple different techniques there. So I've used a dry brush. And so for anyone that doesn't dry brush, so you have your brushes that you use for the bowls, and then you have other brushes that you will then work them in, or I'll use my fingers to mix that through. And it takes a little bit of time, but I actually find it very simple to create those perfect seamless melts.
So Stevie, that's it.
That's it. That's all I've got.
We know that.
Listen, you have a very recognizable style. Like, your images are so beautiful. They're so so striking and captivating. I was just wondering if you'd share with our guests where you generate your inspiration from. Where do you get your ideas?
Oh, I mean, look, I think when you're with peers, like I'm looking at you two, and I've shared stages with Nick. I've look at your work, and I think that hairdressers in today's world, in this sort of Instagram frenzy, I'm always inspired by the hairdressers. I mean, Desi's photography work, he's up next. I would be lying to say that I'm not completely inspired by other hairdressers. Or you see an image and go, "Oh my God, I love that." Yeah. But then I would always try and see someone else's work and then bring it into, like, let's talk about Australia and what the ocean, and then these are our palettes, and that's how I'll sort of make it Stevie-ified. But I think really I love seeing other hairdressers' work and just go, "Oh, how good is that?" And I think that's what inspires me. And without saying a building, architecture, because we can all do that. But I do really, I think I'm swiping a lot and looking at other people's work, and yeah, that's really the sort of. I actually love hairdressers. I do love. We're just that weird bunch of people that are just so much fun to hang out with. And then when you're in a room, that energy and that excitement, and I think that's for me that's where I get inspired, but also where I have a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Tell me about the type of looks you create. Like, what is your favorite go-to, whether it's genre or type of look that you like to create? What comes to mind for you?
I think, I'm quite old now. I've been hairdressing for 27 years. True, I haven't quite got to Botox yet, but I think so in that you learn to whether it's your Betty on a Saturday morning that's that colour, but then when you get the opportunity to push, so it's that how you can go from whisper, talk, shout, and absolutely scream, and that's what I love about hairdressing. I guess my imagery style over the years has always been a bit more bolder, brighter, and I think that when I was really starting to push images, that wasn't as popular. Before a lot of the now platforms where you do see this vivid artwork, and so I think I was just trying to stand out, and I think that as a hairdresser, you want to stand out, so you want to own something that is your work, and you want to be proud of your work, and so really for me it was always about trying to find something that I loved and just doing it and hoping people liked it, I guess, and stand out, and not just for having a silly mouth. And
Well, I think you definitely stand out, and I think your work stands out for itself, and it's very unique to you and very inspiring. Hey, listen, I just want to thank you for joining us this morning. I know you have to head into the salon. Make sure you get a couple more cups of coffee in you before you do that, or else your first guest is gonna be worried. But otherwise,
well, that Australian coffee is so much stronger than American coffee. So I'm looking forward to you boys coming over here and having coffee. I'm really grateful for the opportunity, though, guys, and I'm really happy to see both of your faces and Desi's. It's really nice, and I'm glad that you're doing well, both looking very well. And please look me up. Come and hang in Sydney soon.
We would love to do
second
that
we
for
can.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Good to see you. Stay well, all right? Keep in touch.
Thanks so much. I really enjoyed Desi. Desi's a hero of mine.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing for sure. All right, Ammon. Well, he literally, I know you guys, a lot of people don't know him here in the States unless you've been to some of his shows when he's been in the States, but he is a very talented artist, but he's hysterical. Like if you're ever just down, you want to be around Stevie because he just makes you smile. He just makes you smile. So
I agree.
super appreciative.
I've known him a little bit. I have not had the pleasure of working on stage with him, but just because of the industry and industry friends, I've gotten to spend some time, like he said, having a drink or two together, and just the biggest heart, so funny, and incredibly talented. I mean, I hope that everybody that's watching will follow his work and see some of the things that he was saying and some of the ways he was talking about his work and standing out and really finding his lane, because he truly has done that. He's a remarkable artist. And once again, I can't say it enough. Like 6 a.m. getting up to be here and join us. Just hats off to you, Stevie English. Thank you so much. But coming up next, equally as exciting and rounding out our 51st episode today as the grand finale guest on Unveiling Beauty Season 1 is a gentleman by the name of Mr. Desmond Murray. Hey, Desmond, how are you?
Hi, guys. Very good.
Hi.
Really good. Yeah, thank you so much. It's an absolute privilege to be on. And you guys are looking absolutely great. And it's also great to see Stevie Boy.
Yeah, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We're super honored to have you on.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So, Desmond, what are you planning on showing us today? Because you do a lot of stuff. Like you do, you're one of those multifaceted hairdressers that can do a lot of different things. You photograph it. So you're like the one-stop shop.
Yes.
What are we going to be talking about together today?
So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about imagery and also my style of hair, and also kind of just getting the best out of what you can do. And I think for me, I started off when I was 16, and I had the fortunate to work at Vidal Sassoon. And then when I left Vidal Sassoon, I assisted 2 fashion photographers. And I'd done that for 2 years, and they taught me sort of everything that I know now. And what's really great, I'm kind of a hybrid, really, of Vidal Sassoon and these 2 photographers. So one of the photographers, his name was Max Bradley. He used to do shoots for Vogue, Arena magazine, etc. And he was very editorial. And Paul Panic was very technical. So he taught me different camera lenses, different lighting, etc., etc. So I'm an amalgamation of both of Vidal Sassoon and both of those photographers. So that's what I bring to the table, if you like.
Amazing. So tell me about, there's a lot of stylists out there that are looking to get into editorial, and I think you are one of the best editorial stylists out there. So tell me, what inspiration do you have? What can you talk to, or advice can you give to somebody who's just trying to break into the editorial world?
It's, it's a very, very hard world to break into. I took about 4 or 5 years out of my life. And I started to assist on the shows around the circuit. So I've done London Fashion Week, Paris, Milan, and New York. And then, guys, it sounds very glamorous, but it really isn't. It's a lot of hard work. So I was just a hairdresser called Luigi Marignon. Is now turned into a photographer. But he was amazing because he taught me the cleanliness of hair, but the structure and building up and layering products and stuff like that. So he was amazing. And then I assisted Sam McKnight. I had the pleasure of assisting Sam.
Wow.
He was phenomenal as well. It was just some of the stuff I learned was priceless. And then last but not least, I used to assist Eugene Solomon. So those guys have really laid the foundation, really. They've given me all the equipment that I need, that I use now to create all my looks. And I think it's really important that you pick your heroes very, it's important to pick your heroes because, if you go straight to, if you pick the top, you're not going to fall very far from that. But if you don't pick the top, and you fall far, you're going to be right down the bottom there. So my advice to anyone that's out there that are thinking of doing sort of editorial and stuff, Don't get me wrong, it's hard work, but go to the top, you know. And I'm very, very glad and honoured that I've had the foundation to work of working with those guys, because that is my foundation and that is my background. And what's really nice, you actually bring a part of them with you on your journey.
For sure.
And then you create your own thing from there.
Yeah,
I love that.
I can totally
Great
relate
advice.
to that. Yeah, I can really relate to that feeling, and especially, especially the part where you talked about, putting in the work and really just working hard for, for these mentors and just learning and absorbing as much as you can, and then it eventually starts to become something that's a bit of theirs, but also a bit of yours, and so it's now something brand new. I can relate to that so much.
One of the things that that I find that, especially these days, like I remember when I first started doing hair, and it's never been about money, and it still isn't. That's why I'm probably poor now. But at the end of the day, for me, it's all about, because even when I assisted Eugene and all those guys, you know, you didn't get, the pay was rubbish, absolutely rubbish. But what you learn is priceless. And I remember, another advice I'll give you as well, is whatever you do learn, put it in a book. So I've got this book, and it's like a Bible. And throughout the years, I've dated all my shows, who was assisted, what I'd done, and I broke down the products, broke down the techniques, broke down, and I've got a little picture of bits and pieces as well behind the scenes. And now, if ever I'm looking back for inspiration or ideas and stuff, I look back at those and I think, wow, I remember doing that. I can take a little bit of that, put my own stamp on it, and change it up a little bit, and then regurgitate it. And I think that's really important, because what tends to happen over a period of time, once you learn, you tend to forget. And if it's documented, you always can go back. And that's really important, is to document everything, because, you know, and things get jumbled up as well, because sometimes there's certain techniques that I think to myself, well, how was that done? How was that section taken? And then I can't remember it. But if it's documented, you can remember everything.
One of the things you said that I love is that I don't like doing anything twice and thinking that I'm like great at it, right? It's all about muscle memory, and it's all about repetition. And the more you do it, the better you get, and the more you perfect it and own it. It's better to know, 3 techniques really well than 10 techniques that you really can't master.
Yep. Brilliant. Yes, absolutely.
Well, listen, Desmond, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and for sharing some of your work and some of your wisdom. I know that our guests are going to be really excited to see all the work that you do, follow you if they already haven't, and just continue to see the journey that you take us on as you continue to elevate the bar for the beauty industry, not only where you're from, but as an international icon. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Guys, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor. And guys, stay safe. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Yes, for sure. Take care. Stay well.
All right, my friend. Take care.
Bye.
All right, Am. And what's so cool is it's not only about hairdressers supporting hairdressers in the US, it's worldwide. And that's what today was all about, is really bringing people from across the globe together to really just share some thoughts, share some knowledge, and support each other during this time.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I love getting the inspiration from different cultures, different thought processes. I think we celebrate diverse thinking, not only diversity in the in people's approaches, but diverse thought as well, and that comes from diverse creativity and a diverse team, and having people from international locations come and join us is just, it's an honor. They're great. I'm big fans of both of theirs, as I know you are. And I'm really excited that they were able to be kind of our finale show for Unveiling Beauty Season 1.
I know. So I know we're taking a quick pause, and then we're kicking off Season 2. So what could we have everyone expect for Season 2?
Yeah, so I'm not giving it away too much, because you guys know I don't do that. But we're going to take a little pause, but don't worry, we won't be blank. During that time, we're going to be kind of teasing what the new season will look like. So we'll have a new, fresh look, some cool new ways that we can be a little bit more interactive with you guys on some different platforms, talk about potentially some giveaways, and just really take this Unveiling Beauty series that we really didn't realize 51 episodes later would be our life. And at this point, we're excited, but we want to give it like 51 episodes is a long season. So we're gonna go.
I think that's a record for the longest season on air.
I was like, maybe season 2 will shorten it down just a little bit. But what I know you can look forward to seeing is many more of the industry's top artists coming on board to share their expertise in hair, skin, makeup, arch experts, all things beauty, and just coming and being able to have conversations about what's going on in the industry, how you can speak to your guests, spotlighting some people that are really just powerhouses, and overall just having a good time like we always like to do on Unveiling. So on Unveiling Beauty. So Unveiling Beauty Part 2 coming your way very, very soon.
And most importantly, it's going to be about engaging you, the viewer, more into our show. So we can't wait to tell you all about that. But for now, we're going to leave you with this. I hope you enjoyed the show today and season 1, and we look forward to kicking off season 2 very soon. Take care, everyone. Put in the comments what you guys want to see in season 2. Don't forget to share this on all your social media pages so all your friends and family can learn all about these great tips. And until then, we'll see you very soon. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.